Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has accused China government led by President Xi Jinping of helping Russia by thus allegedly sending the country's weapon production workers to Russia to be producing gunpowder, artillery, among other military weapons, the enemy neighbouring country, Russia under President Vladimir Putin are using to attack and destroy Ukraine. Zelenskyy confirmed that Russia attacked Kharkiv with ballistic missiles as Christians set to mark this year Good Friday, which do herald the celebration of Easter, just as the United States government through the Office of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, also on Friday said that if the war in Ukraine can't be stopped, the US will move on, because the US is not the cause of the war, and the North America country has been helping Ukraine since the start of the war, 3 years ago. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at a press conference on Thursday said that Ukraine has intelligence information indicating that China is supplying weapons to Russia. We received information that China is supplying weapons to Russia. Today we have information from intelligence about gunpowder, artillery. We will tell you about this in great detail next week, said Zelenskyy, adding that he has intelligence suggesting China, the world's second largest economy, is supplying arms to support Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and is manufacturing weapons within Russia. This, as China has always sought to project itself as a neutral party in the conflict, even as Beijing has forged stronger ties with Vladimir Putin, according to Associated Press. We had reported earlier this month that 2 Chinese nationals were captured fighting for Russia by Ukraine. The statement issued by President Zelenskyy on Thursday at the press conference marked the first time Ukraine is openly and publicly accusing China of aiding Russia's invasion in Ukraine. On the attacks carried out by Russia on Friday morning, Zelenskyy stated in quotes thus, "This is how Russia began this Good Friday, with ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, shaheeds, maiming our people and cities. A missile strike on Kharkiv, right on the city. Dozens of residential buildings were damaged, as well as an enterprise and vehicles. Around 70 people were injured, including 5 children. The youngest, Valeria, is just 2 years old. All the wounded received the necessary medical assistance. Tragically, 1 person was killed. Sumy, Russian attack drones. One of the targets was a regular bakery, an ordinary business that has served the city for decades. Tragically, 1 person was killed in this attack. My condolences to all who have lost loved ones. There were also Russian strikes on Dnipro, Kyiv, Mykolaiv, and Donetsk regions. Our rescuers, medics, and other emergency and specialized services are all responding and helping. I thank every single person who is saving lives and restoring living conditions in Ukraine's cities and villages. I am grateful to all our partners who are helping defend Ukraine. Every defense package matters. All air defense systems, sufficient supply of missiles for those systems. All this truly makes a difference. On the other hand, CNN reported that the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, federal high court sitting in Lagos State has sentenced a businessman, Anyagor Godswill to 5 years imprisonment for refusing to accept Naira currency as a legal tender in exchange for the sales of diamond bracelet, demanding the company customers to pay in dollars, and the court in its ruling on Thursday, ordered the diamond bracelet worth over $10,000 to be forfeited to the federal government. This, on the same vein, another federal high court in Ikoyi had on Tuesday sentenced a diamond businessman, Uzondu Precious Chimarobi, to 4 years imprisonment for also refusing to accept Naira as means of payment from his customers, and the court in Ikoyi also ordered the Cartier diamond wristwatch worth over $5,700 to be forfeited to the federal government. Details of the news reports as presented by the Public Relations Unit of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, reads verbatim below. Lagos court jails businessman, company for refusal to accept Naira as legal tender. Justice Akintayo Aluko of the Federal High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, on Thursday, April 17, 2025 convicted and sentenced a businessman, Anyagor Godswill and his company, ICW, to 5 years imprisonment for their refusal to accept the Naira as a legal tender. Obiajuelu, alongside ICW, was arraigned on Thursday on a 2-count charge bordering on refusal to accept the naira as a legal tender. Count 1 reads, that you, ICE by CW and Aniagor Godswill Obiajulu, on the 10th day of December, 2024 in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, refused to accept naira, Nigeria's legal tender, by accepting the sum of $10,000, $10,000 as a means of payment for the purchase of 1 diamond clover bracelet, and you thereby committed an offense contrary to and punishable under Section 21 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act, 2007. Count 2 reads, that you, ICE by CW and Aniagor Godswill Obiajulu, on the 10th day of December, 2024 in Lagos, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, directly retained the total sum of $10,000, $10,000, which sum you reasonably ought to have known forms part of the proceeds of your unlawful activity, to wit, pricing and accepting USD as a means of payment for goods and services, and you thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 18(2)(d) of the Money Laundering, Prevention and Prohibition Act, 2022, and punishable under Section 18(3) of the same Act. He pleaded guilty to the charges when they were read to him. In view of his plea, prosecution counsel, C.C. Accuses, tendered, in evidence, the payment receipt of the bracelet dated December 10, 2024, the defendant's statement dated December 27, 2024, and the diamond bracelet. Accuses also urged the court to convict the defendant as charged. Delivering judgment, Justice Aluko found the first and second defendants guilty and sentenced them to 6 months imprisonment each, with an option of fine in the sum of 50,000 nairas, 50,000 naira. Plateau State government under the leadership of Governor Caleb Mutfwang has ordered probes into the alleged killing of 36 cows in Bassa local government area of the state, days after suspected herdsmen invaded and killed scores of people at Zika community in the same Bassa local government area of the state. Local media stated that the killing of the cows said to belong to Malam Samela Nuhu occurred at Tafi Ghana Junction in the Zanwa ward area of Bassa local government area on Wednesday. The Plateau State government, in a statement issued on Thursday evening, stated in quotes thus, "Our attention has been drawn to an allegation circulating on social media, particularly from the Gavdan media team, concerning the alleged poisoning of 36 cows belonging to one Malam Samela Nuhu on the 16th of April, 2025, at Tafi Ghana Junction in Zanwa ward of Bassa local government area. While government is deeply concerned about this report, it urges the public to remain calm and avoid speculations or narratives that may further inflame tensions or disrupt the peace in the area." In line with Governor Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang's commitment to justice, transparency, and peaceful coexistence among all citizens and residents of Plateau State, the Ministry of Livestock Development, Veterinary Services and Fisheries has been directed to immediately commence a thorough investigation into the incident. A team of veterinary experts, environmental officers, and field investigators have already been deployed to the location to collect samples and establish the facts surrounding the alleged poisoning. Government remains steadfast in promoting peaceful cohabitation, inclusive dialogue, and sustainable solutions to long-standing issues of land use and grazing practices. We therefore appeal to all stakeholders to avoid inflammatory statements and allow the due process of investigation to take its course, the Plateau State government stated on Thursday, as signed and made available by Joyce Loya Ramnap, Commissioner for Information and Communication, Plateau State. In an earlier news release, the Plateau State Governor, His Excellency, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, has paid a sympathy visit to Zika and Kimikpa communities in Kwal district of Bassa local government area, following the gruesome terrorist attacks that occurred between the late hours of Sunday, April 13th, and the early hours of Monday, April 14th, 2025. The governor, visibly shaken by the scale of destruction and human suffering, was deeply moved upon seeing the despondent women, children, and the elderly who were displaced and left without shelter or means of livelihood. He expressed his heartfelt condolences and reassured them of his administration's steadfast support during these trying times. Accompanied by the state's security chiefs, Governor Mutfwang stated that the government has re-evaluated and is re-engineering the state's security architecture to forestall further attacks and ensure lasting peace and stability across Plateau State. We are here to mourn with you, to pay our respects to those whose lives were cut short by this senseless act of terror. The entire nation is grieving with you, and so is the international community, the governor said. I have wept since yesterday because we believed that all necessary measures were in place to prevent a recurrence of such tragedies. We have made significant
Accuses, bringing you the news in a more digital way.